Let's keep on moving then. It looks like I had certainly a good sleep here. A bailiff. In any case, where exactly am I supposed to go there? It's on the left at the miller. Okay. Find out how Fritz and Matthew are doing. Looks like it's completed.
He's only just arrived.
Talk to Matthew and Fritz. Let's have a chat then.
God be with you.
How are you getting on
Are
here?
you happy here?
It's not worth a damn. If I had any choice, you wouldn't see my heels for dust.
Well, what's happened? Did you two get yourselves into trouble?
A fine friend you are, assuming it's our own bloody fault.
Oh, come on. You know what you two are like. I had to ask.
Well, perhaps with that monk. But now, the foreman's got it in for us. If he could, he'd skin us alive.
So, is he too hard on you? I would never guess it. What do you want to do about it?
And what do you want to do about it? Just run away?
Actually, I'd like to stay here. At least for a bit. I never would have thought I'd like working in a mill. But not with him around. It's unbearable. And there's no one I can complain to. But you could.
Me? Do you think they'll listen to me?
They did once already, didn't they? They hired us because of you. You could have another word with them.
Back then, making promises was enough. Now, it will be worse.
You can forget about the miller. It's Thomas you need to convince. The miller takes his opinion seriously. So, will you do it for us? Again?
Fine. I'll try and talk to him.
I'm glad. But try not to get on his wrong side. You won't get anywhere with him then.
I'll keep that in mind.
Okay, about Thomas.
I'd like to ask about that Thomas again.
Is he too hard on you?
Always forcing you to work, is he?
If only. That wouldn't be so awful. But nothing we do is good enough for him. There's always some reason for him to yell at us.
I can imagine.
You know what it's like. We do too little, and it takes us too long, and what we eat's worth more than the work we've done, and it's no fun listening to that sort of shit day after day.
And the miller doesn't mind?
And the miller won't stick up for you. I would have thought all the yelling would drive him mad.
Not really. He trusts that loudmouth bastard more than us. He's got us down for a pair of parasites.
I see.
What's so stupid is the mill really needs us. They haven't had any hands here for quite a while, and the mill needs a lot of fixing. But with them around, we can't even get to work.
But you don't provoke him, I hope.
And you definitely don't... You don't ever provoke him?
I've already told you once, he's an arsehole. I'd say there's nothing we can do about it. If he wants to yell at us, he'll yell at us.
Have you tried talking with him?
What do you think? But that just sets him off. He starts saying we're practically bandits, and what he's going to do about it. That gets Fritz going, and he starts yelling too, and...
I would never have guessed it.
I'd never have guessed he's like that.
Well, get a job here as a hand, and you'll soon see.
And what does he do during the day? Does he work with you?
Good one. He keeps his eye on everything, but his hand only touches the saw when the miller shows up, which isn't that surprising.
Why?
The last time he did anything, he almost took his thumb off with a chisel. I wouldn't put an axe in those paws of his either.
So, he's clumsy and arrogant. That's what you said about your last master, that Nimoy.
Aye, but at least you could sneak away from old Nimoy for a bit. No chance of that around here.
Alright. Where's Fritz? Old Thomas. Miller Oliver. I do not see him. Okay, it's right here. He was missing for a bit there.
God almighty! Did something happen to you? Did someone steal your fancy clothes?
Matthew already complained about your foreman.
Matthew told me your foreman's a fool, and you're not exactly filled with Christian love for him.
You better believe it. I'd like to pay him back for everything and drown him in the river.
What has he done to you?
Drowning? What's he done to you?
It was the first or the second day here. We had a disagreement and I told him off. And then, all of a sudden, we're fighting and that fucker just throws me in the river. I nearly drowned.
Well, how did you get out? I thought you couldn't swim.
I can't. They pulled me out. I was up to my waist in water.
I see. Well, I'd be pretty fucking angry too. So you want to pay him back?
Exactly. I don't give a shit about anything around here, but that bastard's in need of a good trouncing.
He doesn't seem that bad to me. And the others at the mill?
What about the others at the mill? Are they awful as well?
The miller's an old fool. He believes every word that comes out of Thomas's mouth. It's hopeless. And then there's the miller's daughter. She's a pretty lass, and kind with it. But what can she do? Nothing. Not that it stops Matthew going to see her.
Taking so long?
But Thomas is the root of the problem.
Do you think he's jealous? Is she a sweetheart?
He might make puppy dog eyes at her, but most of the time he just struts about like a peacock. I really don't think she's the problem.
He doesn't seem that bad to me.
I spoke with him briefly and he doesn't seem so horrible.
Then you ought to try working with him. He's a sneaky bastard and arrogant. You should see how he puffs himself up when he's off to play dice with Lawrence.
Who's Lawrence? Another mill hand?
Aye, but at the neighbouring mill. They call him the Wren. Damned if I know why. Thomas goes there to play dice with him.
And what do you want to do about it? Do you think you can come to an agreement?
No fucking chance. Matthew hopes so because he likes it here. It's true the work's better than the mines, but the play's worse.
So how do you plan on dealing with it? Leaving?
Perhaps. But first, I want to give Thomas a proper trouncing. I mean a real thrashing.
And you think that will help?
Maybe. Maybe he'll knock some sense into that fat head of his. Or he'll be too frightened to mess with me.
That might help.
So why don't you arrange a fight with him? If we win, he'll leave us alone. Oh, we could...
What?
Useless
We
parasites.
could lure him off someplace far away and then wait for him. Maybe to play dice with Lawrence. He would have to go through the dark woods.
I'll think about it.
I think that's a good idea. Look at that, that's fist fighting
I want to
training.
get better at fist fighting.
Certainly.
The
I'd
beginner.
like to practice the basics.
All right, but it'll cost you. Now, pay close attention.
Good. It's good that I learned the basics though. Let's learn some more about this art of ours.
I want to get better at fist fighting.
Certainly.
Slightly advanced.
I'm interested in more advanced techniques.
All right, but it'll cost you.
Okay.
Now, pay close attention.
Just like for Matthews, I'm going to give Fritz a lot of money for his service. Here, he is certainly going to
I want to
successfully
get better at fist fighting.
Certainly.
teach me how to fight with fists. Advanced.
I'd like to hone my skills.
All right, but it'll cost you. Now, pay close attention.
Okay. And the master level.
I want to get better at fist fighting.
Certainly.
Master.
I want to achieve mastery.
All right, but it'll cost you.
Hey.
Now, pay close attention.
That's it. He is now really rich, and we could as well successfully put some more levels on ourselves. Scholar. Oh wow, wait a second. Your momentary reading. No. Contemplative. As long as you remain still. Tiredness. No. What else we have? Savage. In the wilds we have a +1 bonus strength. In any case, don't need this strength. Dreadful. Foes will be more likely to flee from combat with you. The ones who do fight you will be less determined. Don't like that. Boar. Stronghold blocking opponent bows. Grave digger. Carrying a dead or unconscious bodies won't cost you any stamina. They will burden you half as much. Don't really need that. Marathon man. You run slower but keep it up for longer. No. Last gasp. You'll survive an otherwise fatal blow to your health. You live in regenerate berserker. As soon as your health falls. Human dustbin. You can dispel hunger with anything. Balance diet. If you don't either overeat or go hungry for 5 consecutive days, you get +1 bonus. Now, thick-blooded. You bleed slower. I like that a lot. Speech. Lowborn, highborn. You know what? I'm gonna go for highborn. Increases your speech level +3 when talking to nobles. Okay. That's something I'm good at. And charisma 7, speech 20, vitality 20, agility 20, strength 20. It's not bad at all. Let's get some more stuff for our sword there. Warfare, furious. The less your maximum stamina, the greater injury. Rusty edge, chain strike. Each blow in an uninterrupted chain will hurt your opponent more than the previous one. In any interruption will cancel the bonus. Fine. I like that. And skills, horsemanship. Dread steed. If your horse is wounded, it will run faster. Okay. Rider on the storm. Your horse will be extremely skittish in storms, but will shy less in other weather. Warhorse. Your horse won't shy at nearby foes, at least as long as no one hits him. Okay, a horse will never throw you outside of combat. Huh. Fine. Warhorse. Your horse won't shy at nearby foes. Okay. That's something to have. Lockpicking. Master Thief. You can unlock easier locks automatically. Oh wow. Would you believe that? Stealth. Dark person. Fine, let's get it. Because I'm going to check this anyway quite a bit. Our reputation is reasonable. And for as long as it's not kind of bad, it's okay. And that's it. You can check this out right here by stopping the video and looking a little bit better at the numbers. Then let's see what else we have here. Okay. A side quest is a friend indeed. I got Fritz and Matthew a new job at Mill. Now it's time to find out how they're getting on. It looks like the lads aren't doing too well. Thomas, the overseer, is on their backs and keeps bothering them. They asked me if I could do something to sort it out. Matthew wants to deal with the foreman gently so as not to throw fat on the fire. Fritz wants to get revenge on Thomas by giving him a beating. He doesn't care whether it's an arranged fight or we lure him somewhere and ambush him. I should go and see Thomas the foreman and try reasoning with him. Okay, let's do just that. But before that, let's talk to the miller himself and see what does he has to say. It's his business, so he probably has to say something.
Are you
How are
happy
the
with your new
carpenters?
workers?
They're good carpenters, but someone constantly has to stand behind their backs and keep an eye on them.
Really?
Yes, yes. When I'm there with them, everything goes smoothly. But the moment I leave, I hear Thomas yelling.
I've heard.
I don't know what I'd do without Thomas. He keeps an eye on everything for me now. The mill wouldn't function without him.
But he isn't able to handle everything.
Yeah, but Thomas has problems with carpentry.
You're right. You should hear him cursing when he has to turn his hand to it. He knows he'll never be a real miller.
Well, just because of that.
No. He's not too skilled at handling the water wheel and the mill run either. He can wield a shovel well enough, but otherwise I have to keep telling him how to do things.
How long has he been mill foreman?
So he's not been foreman too long?
No. My son used to run the mill, but then his wagon overturned with him inside it. It'll be a year ago now, come spring.
I'm sorry.
Me too, boy. And after Martin was gone, the other workers left and only Thomas stayed. I don't know what I'd do without him.
What happened with the wagon?
What happened that day? Wagons don't overturn themselves.
He was transporting new stone blocks for the mill and he had to take a detour. Since the wagon was too heavy for the Ford, it was after a downpour. The load must have slipped and the whole wagon fell on him. I pray it was quick.
So he was alone, and no one to help him.
Of course not. Thomas was there too. He helped Martin to load the wagon in Sassar and both of them set off back.
Just the two of them?
Just the two of them. No one else was there.
No, they always did it that way. Martin didn't like dragging people where it wasn't necessary, when they could be doing work elsewhere. But if I had been there with them, maybe he'd still be alive. Thomas couldn't pull the wagon off him. He ran for help, but it was already too late.
I'm sorry. But I'm sure he's in God's kingdom now.
He was a good boy, a kind soul.
How long have you been without workers?
Have you been without carpenters for a while?
A long time. Since winter, it's been just me and Thomas.
Nobody stays around.
No. These days, it's hard to find a man you can rely on. Young lads today are bone idle. None of them wants to do an honest day's work.
And how many have actually worked here?
About half a dozen, maybe more. We always put up with them till the most urgent work was done, then sent them packing.
And what about Jane?
And what about Jane? Shouldn't she have a husband by now?
What are you trying to say?
A pretty girl like her is ripe for marriage.
With a large dowry because she comes from a mill? Well, she had herself a man once, but he ran away during the winter. He wasn't up to the work either.
And how long did he last?
You know, he was here for a while. But back then my son was a foreman and he was a kindly soul. Too kind. He never threw anyone out.
So everyone started leaving when Thomas took over.
Well, Thomas is a dog on slackers. And just as well. Maybe it's harsh, but that's what you need nowadays. If we don't mill, folk don't eat.
And isn't he doing it on purpose?
So the moment Thomas became mill foreman, everyone started running off. Not one man could stand it here, even if they had a chance to marry Jane. Don't you think Thomas might be doing it on purpose? Sounds to me like he's after the mill, or your daughter, or both.
That's not like him. He's a good man and straightforward. He knows I can always send for a new mill foreman.
And Jane,
Don't worry about her. She'll wed whoever I approve of. Even Thomas, if he asks for her hand. At least with him, I know he won't leave the mill.
indeed, why would he once he's got rid of everyone else?
That's enough. I don't know why you're trying to slander Thomas, but I don't mean to listen to it any longer.
Okay. It looks like we'll have another conversation now.
I heard what you asked my father. You can't expect help from him. He's none too sharp these days.
Don't stick your nose in where it's not wanted, wench. And you can help.
And can you help me?
No. Nobody listens to me. But I wanted to say that Thomas does do it on purpose. He did it the same way before.
Why?
Because he's afraid if someone comes who's more skilled, Father will notice and give his job to the newcomer.
And your father lets him? Can't he settle it?
He probably could, but he doesn't want to. My brother was the mill foreman before him, but last year a wagon overturned on him, broke his back. It broke my father too. And Thomas was here the longest. He was always close to my brother, so Father chose him as the mill foreman.
About your brother.
What happened to your brother?
And what does that have to do with this?
I don't know. You mentioned it, so I was just wondering.
There's not much to tell. A stone block that was loaded wrong, slippery ground after rain, and when the wagon overturned on him, there was no one around to help.
What do you mean, no one? Surely he wasn't alone.
No, he had Thomas with him. But Thomas couldn't lift the wagon off him, and by the time he found help it was too late. And as if that wasn't bad enough, someone robbed my brother while Thomas was looking for help.
Someone robbed him after he was dead.
I don't know. But they took a mottled scarf which I gave him as a keepsake. He laughed when I gave it to him. He said it would make